Welcome back to another Tera Plays Tera video. Alright, welcome back to another news about Tera. Yeah, so today's spit, what I'm gonna say is let's all play a little game. And we're gonna play a game of, guess that person that's been crying in Global lately about they can't get into a guild. The corgi agrees. I don't know if you can hear her. But yeah, then they get into a guild and then they immediately kicked. How sad! Alright, no, seriously, don't cry in Global. It doesn't do anything for you. But, yeah, hopefully that's no one here. If so, just learn your lesson, you know. It's not gonna do anything. Crying in Global and guild chat gets you nowhere. But yeah, let me know if you think you know who it is in the comment section. Go ahead and put it down. If you want to be discreet about it, feel free to. If not, we'll throw shade, and if people don't like me, oh well, we'll just turn into a version of Nuxtaku. No, but seriously, let's get into actual changes of Tera. If you guys weren't familiar with all the updates, a lot of cool stuff has came out recently. Yes, we need more, but I am happy the direction the devs are going with some stuff. I hope to see a better direction still, but there have been improvements, and I'm really happy about the improvements. So yeah, the first thing is what we always cover is the polls. So anyone who, you know, watches the series, you know, I do a poll on Twitter. 2 weeks ago, the poll was more events in game. And I'm glad that everyone agreed that they vote. We didn't get too many votes. That is okay. But it just shows that hopefully we get more events. And the devs kind of did that, but not in the way I want to see in the future. Hopefully they do more. That being said, that this week's poll, I'd like to see everyone vote on because it's something I'm very passionate about. And I think it's something that could really fix the game or help the game out significantly. And it helps all players that have been playing. And this being a poll on stigmas. Now, I've been trying to figure out myself what is the best way for the devs to work on stigmas for people to be the least angry. So this week's poll, check it out. Basically, the 3 ideas that I am suggesting is, should they add locking stones? This is something that I think they should add. I've brought it up before in my previous videos. I've brought it up to the devs. They said they've talked about it. They just don't know. Honestly, this is something that it could help. It could also break the game. And this is a locking stone that you can pick. Like, you can lock a stat, right? Let's say you have a 2% cooldown. You can lock that 2% cooldown, re-roll, and you won't lose that 2% cooldown. And you have to lock it every time. You know, you have to use multiple locking stones to lock multiple rolls. But this could help people get their ideal cooldown builds quicker. It also breaks the game in the sense that people could start getting triple cooldown rolls, and CDR is a big issue in the game. So the next thing is, should they remove or nerf the cooldown reduction builds? And this is something that I've talked to a lot of PC players about, that they say stigmas broke console, and most people even in console will say the same thing. Stigmas are a huge issue. And the biggest thing is, you know, the cooldown reduction builds are kind of cracked. Like, you know, Reaper's having 7-second assassinate, 6-second 4, 0-second assassinate is kind of ridiculous damage. But warriors can do it with Deadly Gamble too, right? Priest and Mystic can do it with their Kayas and their Vows and all of their stuff too. So most classes can have a cooldown build that's a little busted. There's very few like Zerks and Valks that can't. The problem with this is that should we nerf these builds? If these builds get nerfs, would people quit? And I'm actually curious. Like, I know I wouldn't quit if DG got nerfed, but that's also because I play on PC, where I know a rotation that I like and still like the game without it, because I played the game without it. But I know a lot of people don't feel that way. So let me know what y'all think. would you quit if they removed CDR builds? Would you be like, nah, I never would play this game again because I've been working so hard to get my cooldown build? Maybe you're someone that's spent thousands of dollars. I mean, I know people who have spent a couple $100,000 to get their ideal stigmas, and this is a little blow to those people that have done that. So let me know. I'm curious. Would you quit? Should we nerf these? Or should they take a different route? Which, again, I think locking stones is that other route. That way it's, hate to say it, I know the game shouldn't be fair to everyone, but realistically less RNG. The last thing, the last option that I talked to a few friends and thought of was buffing attack stigmas. And they could buff attack and defense stigmas to the point that the damage that attack stigma users do is the same exact damage that the CDR builds do. And they could either just make the damage scale, like, ridiculously. Again, this would crack out Zerks and Valks to make them do even more damage, which means it would cost more class balancing time, which again, the devs should be doing realistically anyway. They could also kind of buff classes, filler skills. For an example, a warrior who uses unlimited DG barely ever uses Rain of Blows. Therefore, well, yeah, if you're a full soul build warrior, you don't really ever use Rain of Blows. You don't need to. But attack stigma warriors still kind of need that, for their roto. And they could maybe do some crazy math that makes both of these builds line up in the same damage, that it shouldn't matter what route you build. Therefore, people who build CDR are just having easier with more movement, that realistically you just have a better cooldown on your movement skills. But that still causes the issue with, healers having their unlimited Kayas. But again, if all of this is more balanced, then we can make dungeons a lot more balanced. And the fact of how much damage a boss takes, that, whatever build you run is the same. Again, so that's kind of a few concepts that I've thought of. Please let me know in the poll. Please vote. There will be a link in the description. As always, go check that out and vote. And please let me know, because I'm actually very, very, very intrigued. And this will be something I bring up in a future video. How I think they should go about fixing stigmas is, should they remove CDR builds? Should they add a cap? If they did this, how many people would quit? I am very, very interested to know. Would you quit? Because I think that's a huge thing that the devs are afraid of doing. Whenever I talk to the devs or the customer support person about stigmas, he's very, very, he or she is very, very, I don't want to touch this topic because I don't want to upset people. And I can see that they are trying to figure out how to make it better. I know a lot of you hate the pay to win. They've just added a new bundle that makes it even more pay to win, that you can pay for your enchants. This isn't the way I want them to go. Sorry, I just smacked you. This isn't the way I want them to go. I want them to make stigma shards easier. But you know what? Okay, let them get some money, and then maybe we'll start seeing that stigma shards and enchants will come easier. Hopefully in time. So that's the polls. Please go check it out. Please give me your feedback. Alright, the next thing I want to cover in this video is current glitches in the game. As we just got a patch recently, of course there is always some glitches. I've already DM'd the devs about these. I have not heard back from them about anything that I've DM'd them about. I don't know what's going on. They're clearly just busy, probably. Is what it is. I'm giving them their space. But I do want you all to know that I am still trying to communicate with them at the best of my ability. Within that, 3 glitches that I've found is, first off, the Abyssal Raider title. Anyone who had that title pre-patch attached to their character cannot change the title. Anyone who currently doesn't have it, we can still change our title. I was able to change Mifba's title. I never had it attached because I have leaderboard titles. and I am still free to move around whatever title I want on Meathba. Now my Reaper, for other words, had Abyss Raider, is not available to change titles. It is locked in. As far as whether if we get the damage from it, I don't really know. I just know that since they took AAHM out, that title is locked. You can't change, and hopefully the devs are fixing this soon. The next glitch is the elite pots. Some people are having an issue where they pop the pot and it goes on cooldown to the point when they switch a character, they cannot reactivate this pot. This was an issue with elite items in the past. Hopefully the devs fix it. It hasn't been happening to me. Then again, I use my Quinlong buff more often than not. So be wary when you pop your elite pot. If you're gonna switch characters soon, before the cooldown, maybe consider just holding it off and then swap characters, then pop it. The last glitch that I've found is the UI glitch, and that is just a small issue. It's not too crazy, but whenever you go into the UI and you change items real quick or swap around, you get a smear across the item. And it's even happened for buffs on my bar. It's just that the item or image gets smeared. There's nothing really wrong with it, but hopefully they fix it because it just doesn't look good. And it's like a color smear, so whatever the buff or item looks like, it's a smear of that color. I don't know if it's zoomed in or it's just a weird UI visual bug. It's nothing crazy, but those are the current glitches. As far as cursed AA goes, because I know quite a few people were upset Bahar's leaving, quite a few people were super excited that Cursed AA was coming back, that being I was one that was excited to see that they were doing a full rotation. But I was also worried about Cursed AA, that they didn't mention they were changing its crit resist because it has higher crit resist than Bahar. I did DM them about this, as well as reset scrolls. Hopefully they add those in so we can buy them, or just the Bahar and just make the Bahar reset scroll Bahar and Cursed AA and just keep it in the game. I personally think that's a good idea. We'll see if the devs agree, but they did say that they are delaying it for a month because there's an issue. I'm hoping this is the crit resist issue that classes like Zergs, Slayers, Ninjas, almost any class that needs to build crit can't crit in there, just like how Bahar was. So hopefully that is something that they're fixing. I don't know what other glitch they would be referring to, other than that when they originally released it, Cage was an issue and then they fixed it, so maybe they're changing that mech. That is the biggest thing with Cursed AA. The final thing I want to talk about is Gossamer's Vault Hard mode. I am super happy that they added this dungeon. It's such a fun dungeon to do, and I apologize, inviting a friend real quick. Gossamer's Vault is such a fun dungeon. I highly encourage everyone to go into it. It is very challenging, and I'm happy that the devs made a challenging dungeon. I think the gold reses are a little childish, but you know what, everyone gets to learn it. I think it's a cool idea that they implemented it, and it is just a 460 dungeon. It is a bit harder than other 460s, and I'm happy to see that, because not only is it a bit harder, but there is more loot in the dungeon. During double drops, I walked away with like 214 stacks of Ecto, and that's crazy, and that's not just 214, no, there's more stacks. And even earlier today when I was running with a group, I saw a 14 stack of Ecto and multiple other stacks of Ecto. This is sure for people who are at in-game that don't care. Cool, you don't care, it's fine, but they are listening to us. I mean, I took a poll a while back about saying, hey, should we have harder dungeons with better loot or keep them easier with less loot? Well, they made a harder dungeon and increased the loot pool significantly. From what I heard, it's even more loot than what AQ gives, which sounds about right, because from what I understand, AQ dies a lot quicker. So let that be a note that they might not be talking, but they're listening. And I'm so happy to see that they're listening, and I so hope that they go into that, because this is something we need. And like with events that I've said, hopefully they add more events. They did it with, you know, the current events. They changed the Guardian Legions. I'm happy about that. They changed the, what was it, bounty hunter missions. I'm happy that they did that. They are more frequent. But when I said more events, I mean more types like that. Maybe another whole set of bounty hunter missions, you know, to give another type of token that gives better rewards. More holiday events, just more things to do in the game, which again, I want to see. I will cover these concepts in a future video. That's about it for today's news. I hope you enjoyed. Again, please let me know in the comment section about stuff. Talk to me, let me know. I am here and I'm going to do my best that I can to reach out to the devs. That's about it. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Hit it. It's probably right on my face. Just hit the boop. Hit the boop it. All right. That's about it. Hope to see you in Aboria, gamers.